Hello, everybody, and welcome to Book It, Vince, the Wrestling Dream Match podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Martin Bennett, and with me, as always, is Mr. Ass, Anthony Hall.
Oh, I know this one. Billy Gunn. Yes.
Billy Gunn.
I certainly do.
Mr. Ass.
Mr. Ass. Oh, what a man. What a man.
The New Age Outlaws. Mr. Ass.
The leader of the gun club.
So weird. I've always loved the gimmick. It's just such a funny thing where it was like the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, and it's like, okay, I guess because I guess I remember it's because they started out as like, yeah, we're outlaws. And then they quickly switched to just because then they got into DX and they're like, we're just not misfits. We're just like miscreants.
We're just like weird dudes.
Yeah. And then what is it? Oh yeah, I'm Road Dogg, so I'm going to rap and I'm Mr. Ass because I got a butt.
Yeah, that's simply all the qualifications he needed to become Mr. Ass, is that he had to be a human with an ass.
I think it's also, if I remember correctly, it's because Billy Gunn was a part of a tag team beforehand. I don't know if they were called the Outlaws maybe, but it was because he was Billy Gunn. So, and now you got the Gun Club with him and his two sons and their very annoying Instagram stories.
Oh, they have annoying Instagram stories? I do not follow them.
No. It's not them specifically. Every week they take over the AEW Dynamite Instagram, and it's just Austin Gunn from the sidelines filming everything and just screaming his head off and reacting to stuff. And I just sit there and go, skip.
Skip.
I capture some cool moments from the sidelines, but like, it's just him screaming like, oh, big spot. It's like, oh God. But anyways,
Lordy.
We're not here for that. We're here to book a cool dream match or tournament. We'll get into that in a second. But also you're here because you're here to listen to us talk about some wrestling. So if you enjoy what we do here at Book Events, please follow, subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you get your podcast on, or come watch the video version because that'd be nice. Yeah.
And I have a blue screen.
That's true. Anthony has a blue screen and he puts crazy things up on it. So like there, he's in the fun house. Also, he's kind of got a floating head now and we're trying to figure out how to fix it. But
no, why?
But yes. So today, Anthony, it's my week because last week we did booking brand new stables, which is your idea. This week, my idea, I alluded to it in the last episode with my match recommendation. But something that I've always been really interested in and I love in WWE is the King of the Ring tournament. So, if you're not aware, the King of the Ring has been it's been a thing that has been a part of the WWE for about almost 40 years now. And it's basically just a tournament to decide who is at the time the best in-ring wrestler in the company. And for a long time they did like it depended on the person, but they really leaned into the king aspect of it because obviously it's WWE. Anthony on his blue screen right now has the old King of the Ring logo from the 90s, which is great. I love it. But they gave him the king gimmick, which essentially then the person had a crown They acted all royal and above everybody. Or, it was just a kind of a stamp of approval onto someone where, it was basically saying like this is the best wrestler right now in WWE. Some famous winners that y'all might know. Macho Man famously then became Macho King for a bit.
King Macho.
Macho
King.
Ted DiBiase. Bret Hart won it twice. Only person to ever win the King of the Ring twice.
Two-time.
Owen Hart. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Triple H. Billy Gunn. Actually.
What? Really?
Billy Gunn won the 1999 King of the Ring. Interesting. I didn't know that. I'm just looking at this now.
Why?
I don't know. Kurt Angle, Edge, Brock Lesnar, Booker T, one of the most famous ones because King Booker was one of the best iterations of the King moniker. William Regal, Sheamus, Bad News Barrett, Wade Barrett, and now currently we live in the age of King Corbin, which is
King Corbin, first of his name.
Mixed opinions. I mean. We went from Baron Corbin being what was he, the lone wolf, to then being
was like kind of like he was like a badass like biker guy. I think that's kind of like his energy. He didn't have a bike, but he had like the jacket, the leather vest, the weird kind of like torn up patchy pants, and like. His theme was really cool at that time too, and then he had like those spotlights where we're like lit up. It's like cool, and then he would like walk in. And
then he became the Raw GM.
Oh, restaurant manager Corbin.
Yeah, with the vests and stuff.
Yeah, he dressed like a high, like a upper middle class dining facility guy manager. Like a Moxie's or an Earl's or the other restaurants that are not Canadian that live in that realm. But
so then he won the Return of the King of the Ring after 4 years since Wade Barrett won it. And I, for this episode, want to book the next King of the Ring winner, which will be putting it out there into the universe so it actually happens, because it's probably the only person I've ever heard about and listened to talk about one of their only WWE like dreams is to become King of the Ring. More so than being a WWE champion, more so than winning like any other title. They just want to be King of the Ring. And that person is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed, host of Up, Up, Down, Down, new host of G4. One of my idols, because I think he's he's a great wrestler, but he's also just a great host and entertainer. Yeah. So if you've even listened to anything that Austin Creed has ever said or wrote on Twitter or whatever, he just wants to be King of the Ring so badly. And so I figured today, Anthony, we are going to book Austin Creed, or Xavier Woods.
Yes.
Becoming King of the Ring.
Yes.
So, I guess the fresh king of Stamford. I guess the first thing to do is to create a tournament bracket and figure out who do we want to be in this tournament, even though we have decided that Xavier is going to win. But who else should be in it? How should they go about it? There's a couple of things, right? So the old King of the Ring back in the 90s used to be a pay-per-view.
Yes.
And on the pay-per-view would be the preliminary match. Well, it's tricky. There have been some Kings of the Rings where they do the entire bracket on the pay-per-view. And there have been some, like last week, where my match recommendation was the 96 King of the Ring. It only had 3 matches. It had the semis and then the finals. But maybe it's a thing where we could do the whole tournament on a pay-per-view. We could do qualifiers on Raw and SmackDown. That you could have the quarterfinals on Raw and SmackDown, and then do the 2 semis leading up to the final being the main event of the pay-per-view. What do you think?
This is very interesting because my perception of the King of the Ring is like something that they do on television because they
Which
need
it
content.
Shouldn't be.
Like that's just like, we need to make somebody a king, so let's just do this tournament over the next couple of weeks. We got a couple hours to fill programming wise on each one of these shows. Let's do some matches. But that reduces the sort of the merit of this tournament.
You look back at past winners and you look at them and you're like, these are people who they were like, this is the guy. Like, this is who we want to be the next big thing, or that we think is like one of the top talents in the business right now. And it's kind of fallen off of that. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Well, it's also like it is sort of a title, and in the WWE at least, it's famously been like, like, sure, you're not technically a champion, but you are King of the Ring. And so, one, I think it'd be a great pay-per-view because you could lace it with Terminant. Why am I having a hard time saying tournament? Tournament matches, but then in between those, you could have, title matches and whatnot. And people have said before that you could have the King of the Ring winner get an opportunity at a world title. But I think that with Xavier Woods specifically winning it, I think just having the title of King of the Ring alone is like what he wants specifically. And what I think like would just be good enough in this day and age where it's like, yeah, you could end up taking on I think Xavier Woods would be perfect to take on the moniker as the king. Mm-hmm. It would be goofy. It'd be funny. But then it's also that thing of like, Kofi got to be world champion. Big E right now is intercontinental champion, and clearly like the kind of locker room. Why can't I say words today?
Well, the locker room terminant.
The locker room leader.
Yeah.
On SmackDown. And hopefully maybe he gets a world title shot eventually, or at least he's more and more featured. And this is kind of like Xavier's like one thing of like, this is the thing I want to do. And I think then it's like you could have King Woods or King Xavier, and
King Xavier is a great. It's beautiful. I could see the Titantron already.
And he just like takes on it's just him, but he's just the bombastic like, I'm the king. Aha.
Yeah.
And they just use it to like goof around and sort of get into feuds with people, and people saying like, you're not king worthy, and he's just like, hush, peasants, and he does that sort of like way over the top sort of thing. So
I like how you're like, oh man, I don't want King of the Ring to be on television because it reduces the value and the merit of this tournament. But then you have the winner of King of the Ring just being like a silly king, the Burger King, basically.
Well, I don't think that he would win and then just put on the crown and be like, haha, like I'm the king, like peasants. So I think it would be like such a gratifying moment of like Xavier being in the business for like almost like 15 years and finally like reaching what he sees as his pinnacle.
Right. Yeah. I see.
And then
I think like,
afterwards,
it's a good story.
following up, he can then go into like, because the New Day are not I'm going to be really serious with this thing right now. Well, there's moments. There are moments where like when Kofi was getting the title, like it went into serious, and that was great because you need that counterbalance of like, these guys are the comedy, like they're the fun, happy-go-lucky, power of positivity sort of dudes. But then when they need to get serious, they get serious, So,
Okay.
and I think it can lead into that. But then like, it's a thing of like, yeah, I'm the king. Ooh, yeah, I get to have fun with this. This is silly. And then like that can lead into a rivalry where the person that they're fighting is like, you need to take this more seriously. And then like Xavier eventually like beats them and does take it seriously, or something happens. I don't know, but
okay, I see. So tell me if this is a bad idea. To start this King of the Ring experience, let's say like the tournament field has been set, but Xavier Woods is not in it, like right now. So let's say it's 8 people, 4 from SmackDown, 4 from Raw, and Xavier has not been included because he's not really a former singles title holder of any kind. He's not really on the road to winning any specific title, but who is a former champion, his stablemate, Kofi Kingston. So Kofi's on Raw, right? So let's say Kofi gets a spot, but I don't know if this is maybe too overdone even by us here at Book It Vince, but what if Kofi for some reason can't go? Like maybe he gets hurt. Maybe this is like a real life injury thing where he actually gets hurt. And then they use that to propel Xavier into the spot. He's like, who's the GM of Raw right now? Does Raw have a GM?
It's technically Pierce is like the WWE like management person.
Okay, so let's say Pierce is like Kofi. There's no way you're going to be able to compete. You talk to the medical staff. They say you're not going to heal in time for this tournament. We're going to replace you. We have a couple people in mind already. And Kofi's just like, no. I know somebody who deserves a chance at this. My brother. This would mean so much to him. And then Xavier is just like, oh, I'll do it. He gets that, and he gets the spot. Does that set up? Is that too much setup?
I think so. I mean, it's a thing of like, it's a tournament. So I think that having things like qualifier matches, and it could be it's a thing where I think that Xavier has been so vocal about wanting to be King of the Ring. It could be a good moment of like, a King of the Ring tournament has been announced and the preliminary matches are happening on TV, and then the semis and the final will happen on the next pay-per-view, which is going to be King of the Ring.
Yeah. Okay.
But like him not being included, that'd be good for like a week. But I just think that it's like, it's sort of the thing of like, I would hope that WWE wouldn't be stupid enough to go, all right, we're making a King of the Ring. Let's not include the most vocal person about being King of the Ring in this.
Yeah, one of your biggest stars like outside of just wrestling programming.
Yeah, all the fans would go, are you dumb? like you went completely against what anyone wants for no reason.
Yeah.
Unless there is a really good story thing, but it's sort of also, it's also like, it's not like, unless there was like qualifier matches to get into the tournament and then Xavier wasn't included in one of those. And that turns into a whole thing. But at the same time, it's sort of like, I don't see the personality of a person like Pierce being like, well, no, we're having qualifier matches for these 8 spots. Let's not include one of our top people. Like, unless there was like an authority figure who was specifically against the New Day, like, I don't see that happening really, because it just doesn't make sense. It's too much drama it's like, no, you don't get a tournament spot. You know, I think him just winning a qualifier match where it's like, but it's like a big match. That's what I'm sort of thinking, where it's like, yeah, okay, we're having, you know, maybe there are here's the thing, because this recently has been sort of a trend that's been going around, is like, maybe they announce like 4 people that are already in the tournament, and then they have 4 open spots, and Xavier's not put into one of those for sure spots, and he has to win a match in order to get into the tournament.
He has to win a qualifier. Okay, all right. Okay.
And so they can say, here's 4 people, like what they did with Elimination Chamber this year, where it was like, here are people who are already for sure in it. Mm-hmm. And then that's where Xavier might go to Pierce and be like, why wasn't I already like put into it? No one else around here cares about King of the Ring except for me.
Yeah.
And
yeah, there could be some good comedy there with like, nobody cares about King of the Ring except for me. And then Baron Corbin comes in and he's like, and me. And he's like, you think you could take the crowd away from me? And he's like, maybe he's like really mad at Pierce because he's the only management figure that he can approach about this. He's like, it's like, whose idea was it to do King of the Ring? Nobody can dethrone the rightful king of the WWE, King Corbin. And that kind of like helps build a little bit of a storyline with Xavier and Baron Corbin, and helps build towards their inevitable bout in the final. Give me 1 second. I need to plug in my headphones.
Okay. We'll be right back after the short commercial break. No. Hi, audience. I'm just going to talk to you for a couple of seconds here. I think the
tell them about Squarespace.
No, I would love to be sponsored by Squarespace. I'd love to. Hey, if you're listening to this podcast and you want to sponsor us, feel free to email us at unknownairfilms@gmail.com, or go to our website, unknownairfilms.com.
Yes. We are open to being corporate shills to keep our wrestling dream matches alive.
But so, yeah, I think that like people automatically get in. Xavier's like annoyed by the fact that he didn't automatically get in. And he sort of says like, what do I got to do in order to do this? And that's where Pierce can say like, well, we're going to have qualifier matches. You can be in a qualifier match and so that you can win the opportunity to get into the King of the Ring. And then that's where babyface Woods can be like, okay, no, I'm going to win my opportunity. I'm going to get into the tournament. I'm going to go all the way. And this can then slowly build him up of like, showing how much he loves King of the Ring. And then, just him sort of overcoming the odds. Kind of like the way I sort of thought about it is like, I think that what they did for the AEW Eliminator tournament, your blue screen is so weird, man.
Yeah.
What they did for the AEW Eliminator tournament, how they had Kenny Omega go through like really easy matches, but then they had Hangman go through really tough matches. I think that's kind of the way that it could be played, is like,
we should absolutely do that for the SmackDown side where Baron Corbin lives. Oh my God. Baron Corbin should just like wrestle people who we would consider on WWE programming as jobbers, like just absolutely walk through them in his like maybe first match and even maybe the semifinal. Up until the final, because like his path should just really be untainted and very much easy.
Well, I think maybe like on the one side. Okay, so we should probably go through how we imagine the bracket looking. So I think that maybe what we can do is it's like, yeah, there's a Raw side and yeah, there's a SmackDown side, but I think like there could be a slot or two that's open to NXT.
Yeah.
Because I think it'd be a really cool thing to like have then on NXT, like have there be a match. It doesn't, maybe it's not necessarily just a one-on-one for a spot. Maybe it's like a fatal 4-way or something for a spot.
What about a battle royal? What about like an NXT TV battle royal for one spot in the King of the Ring tournament? It's like the quest for the throne battle royal.
That would be actually really cool, because then you can throw in a lot of storylines into that one match, like people screwing other people over, and then one final person like comes out on top, which would be good, and like they get to go into
Cameron Grimes, Marty. Imagine big money Grimes somehow winning.
Okay,
the
but
NXT quest for the throne.
Who should think that they won and then get screwed over by Cameron Grimes?
Probably somebody who's a big time face, like Kurt Stallion or something like that. Where you're like, oh my God, Kurt Stallion, he's done it. He's gonna be a king of the ring. And then Cameron Grimes screws
it just turns
over.
out Cameron Grimes like faked an injury or has been outside the ring for like the entire time, and he just runs in and dumps Stallion over and wins the whole thing.
Yeah, quest for the throne battle royale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So there's one. So then we need 8 people total to get into this match. Who should I guess we'll say like who we think should be in it / what are the qualifier matches. So on the SmackDown side, it's Corbin versus who would then like qualify to get into the match and then be like I think this first round should be like a good simple squash match for Corbin. So who would be good on the SmackDown side?
Let's refer to one of our favorite resources, the SmackDownHotel.com. How about
it's hard because you don't want to just squash people. Like you don't want to like make someone look like, oh well, that was unnecessary to beat them. But I mean, you could do Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, that would be big for him.
Their sort of whole thing. You could have it. That'd be a pretty easy like progression of that of like the SmackDown side, where it's like you have, say you have Corbin and Mysterio are automatically in the tournament, like Rey Mysterio.
Oh, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, but they're on like two
opposite
semifinal
sides.
Yeah, they're in 2 semifinals, and they're looking for 2 new competitors.
Yes.
And so then Dominic gets into the spot against Corbin.
Yeah.
And then that way you can build up a thing of like, could Dominic Mysterio win and then go on to face his father? But then obviously
his father.
Then
obviously loses.
Corbin beats him.
So does Cameron Grimes' NXT spot, this is NXT Golden Ticket, is that going to be on the SmackDown side? So that Cameron Grimes is against Rey Mysterio?
You know what? Yeah, sure. I mean, SmackDown has a smaller roster than Raw, so sure. That works.
So that sets the SmackDown side. So yeah, and Grimes as a greasy heel versus like, the noble family man and all-time crowd favorite Rey Mysterio in this tournament would be really funny. And King Rey, people imagining King Rey Mysterio.
That would be cool. But I think then Rey beats Cameron Grimes.
Oh, but the fact that Baron Corbin could be facing Cameron Grimes, I mean, storyline, like character alignment wise, I guess that doesn't really work, but like it would be really funny.
It would be really funny, but I think it's like you have a really good match between. I mean, that's the thing is like you get to have these counterbalances of like really good matches versus really easy matches versus like matches you never think you'd see. Like Cameron Grimes versus Rey Mysterio, never think you'd see that.
No.
But it's a thing where I think like Cameron actually pushes like Ray to the limit, and Ray overcomes that. So then you can have not like a squash match between Ray and Corbin, but you have like they've had their matches in the past, but this time it's going to be on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And
also, like Rey Mysterio is avenging his son's loss.
Yeah.
Because
trying to.
I bet like Baron Corbin would like try to humiliate Dominic and be like, "Is that all you got, Dom?"
Because these first round matches are going to be on TV, and then the semis for both sides are going to be on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So then
they have their matches and then they go into the final, which would be the main event of the pay-per-view.
So you could have as an opener, you could either have as like an opening match one of these two semis. One could be you could probably have Corbin versus Ray first
to open the show.
So that maybe Corbin tries to screw Xavier during his semi match during in the middle of the pay-per-view. So then that sets them up for a bigger sort of rivalry spot in the final at the end of the pay-per-view. So, okay. So then, so you have Corbin versus Dominic Mysterio. Corbin, he gets pushed a little bit, but like overcomes Dominic to show like, this is why I'm king.
Yeah. And you get Dominic his spots in, like Dominic would hit like the frog splash, and he'll probably hit a 619, and Baron Corbin will absolutely just overcome that and hit him with deep six and get him to end of days and 1, 2, 3. And then Cameron Grimes versus Rey Mysterio would be awesome. But then it's like, you got the veteran, you showcased an interesting talent in Cameron Grimes on TV to then hopefully draw more eyes to SmackDown or to NXT. So then on the Raw side, let's book the other people and then we'll book Xavier's match. So who should automatically be in on the Raw side? It's showcasing like really high quality talent. So, I mean, Sheamus is a former King of the Ring. Is he the most recent King of the Ring that's still in the company? That's not Baron Corbin.
Yes.
Yes. Then yes. Sheamus should automatically be in.
Because Corbin won it in 2019. Wade Barrett won it in 2015. Sheamus won it in 2010.
Yeah, Sheamus should absolutely try for King of the Ring. And
that'd be a really good person for Xavier to overcome.
In the semifinals? Or in the first round?
I think in the first round.
Ooh. Okay.
I think in the first round.
Okay. Yeah, because like to get to his dream of being King of the Ring, the first obstacle is a former King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Former king.
So then let's see. So then I think another person that could automatically be in it. Another person that should automatically be in it, honestly, is it's tough to say. There's so many people that are actually like could be in AJ Styles.
Should we put Drew in it? So that there's a potential for a Drew versus Sheamus King of the Ring semifinal? Because
then who are you going to put over Drew?
Damian Priest. That might be a bit risky.
I think Priest is a good person to like go up against Woods, and you could have that be on the pay-per-view, and you could have the Corbin running interference, or you could have or maybe it's hard because you don't want right now Priest is very hot, and you don't want to suddenly give them a loss for no reason. Either it can be whoever he's currently feuding with, which I guess right now he's currently feuding with, as of recording, not really anyone in particular.
Were you about to say Elias? Because he would kind of be a jokes person to be in the tournament.
Yeah, he is feuded with Elias, is feuded with Angel Garza, feuded with The Miz. So I don't really know who I would necessarily pick.
Why not put Miz in this tournament? Miz is a great person to. He's a great heel personality to have in this, and like him, he loses so much that him taking a loss like wouldn't be detrimental to his career. They're still gonna make more Marine movies even if Miz doesn't win King of the Ring.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. Yeah, you don't want to put like that's the thing with these tournaments is you don't want to put like your top tier talent that you want to protect because they're gonna have to lose.
Yeah,
but you also don't want it to be an upset. It's like I look at Raw and I look at it and I go, who would be really good to have in this tournament because it's like they deserve a shot, maybe. Someone like Ricochet, AJ Styles. I think AJ would be good too because it's like, you know, it's like the only thing he has not done is AJ can take a loss.
Yeah.
And imagine him with Omos and he's like, just imagine it. The phenomenal King Styles, like him doing that sort of shtick.
Okay, so maybe Damian Priest is not a good person to include in this tournament. How about this? How about we go Sheamus, Xavier? I think Xavier should win a qualifier to get into the tournament. And then maybe there should be another qualifier that should be Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali, and then Ricochet wins. So then Ricochet gets into the tournament.
Okay.
Rico. And then he has to go against AJ Styles, who's automatically in the tournament.
Yeah, I like that.
Because AJ versus Ricochet it would be a good match. And it has happened before. Obviously, that great moment where Ricochet jumped into the Styles clash. That was on Raw like months ago, but you know, that. So we could do that. And then that program, that already helps settle the two qualifiers. So like we have two qualifier matches on the Raw side, and then the NXT or the SmackDown side has like the NXT Battle Royal winner for one of their side, for one of the spots on their side. So then, who would Xavier Woods face in a qualifier to get into this tournament? What would be the most dramatic thing for him to overcome?
I'm just thinking, I'm like, who do we not want to, even though I don't think it would be burying them. For some reason, I want to say Braun Strowman, but maybe that's too much. Maybe Braun is way too much for Xavier to overcome cleanly.
Yeah.
I think maybe
let's put Dabba-Kato in there. No, just kidding. Dabba-Kato can afford to be buried because of what is he really doing?
So we have Mustafa Ali, Ricochet. Ricochet wins, goes against Styles. Okay, we have that.
Yeah. What about Tucker? Tucker's not doing anything right now. He can afford a quick burial.
Tucker.
And he's a heel, technically.
You could have Morrison or Miz.
I like Morrison. Maybe like since Miz has already lost a title belt, it would be hard for us to continually to make him lose. But I think if Morrison if this is the chance he gets to prove himself in his comeback, and to potentially, show off how good he is, him versus Xavier, I think would be a good match. So I think that's good.
I think then you could have it be a thing on like Raw where it's like, fine, like Xavier's like, fine, I'll do a qualifier match and I'll prove myself. And then maybe that's at the very beginning of Raw. So it's like it's opening with the announcement of the King of Ring tournament. Then they have like the first qualifier match, right? They have Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
And then later in the show, or like a little bit into the show, then they cut back and Xavier Woods is in Pierce's office after they've announced like who's automatically in the tournament. On the Raw side, you have automatically Sheamus, Styles, Corbin, and Ray. And then now we have, Ricochet won the opening qualifier. He is going to go he's facing AJ Styles next week.
Yeah.
And then you have Xavier Woods in Pierce's office being like, I need to be in this, blah, blah, blah. And that's where you can have, Miz and Morrison interrupt them.
It should be a triple threat. This last qualifier, it should be a triple threat, because my idea here is that Xavier's like, I should be in this tournament. Give me a chance. And then Morrison's like, well, why do you deserve a chance over me? I'm one of the biggest stars. We're me and Miz. we're platinum recording artists. And then and you get one more person in there. It's obviously the most powerful faction in Raw right now, the Hurt Business. And what is their leader, MVP, doing?
Okay.
So MVP is like, I should be the king of the ring.
Right.
Like why are you disrespecting me like this? Like, you see that my boys have gold, but you don't even think to put the mastermind behind the Hurt Business in this tournament? You must be crazy, Pierce. So then Pierce faces MVP and Morrison in a triple threat, which is
Xavier.
the main of. Or yeah.
Pierce books Xavier versus MVP versus Morrison.
Yes, as the main event of Raw that evening.
Yeah. Okay.
Winner gets the final spot in the King of the Ring.
Right.
Cool.
Cool. So so then Xavier wins. I think it's definitely got to be clean. It can't be like triple threats. You got shenanigans that can happen.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that you can have it would be a really cool spot where it looks like MVP is about to win, and maybe he does. I don't know what MVP is. I know he does the running. He basically does the brogue kick, or even the hluva kick. He does a corner kick as one of his final moves. He does the ball in elbow drop. I don't know what it was one of his other, but basically I think in the middle of the ring you have MVP pinning Morrison.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's in a submission or something. And then out of nowhere, flying elbow drop from Xavier onto MVP. Elbow. And then MVP like Morrison rolls out. MVP kind of gets up a little bit to his knees and he's just about to get up. And then Shining Wizard.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, 3 Xavier wins. Obviously it's not just move, win, but the whole match is going back and forth a lot. And then this is just Xavier putting on the gas and boom, boom, boom.
I like that.
So Xavier's
this will be a good episode of Raw.
So Xavier's in. So then obviously on the Raw side, we have AJ versus Ricochet. As much as I'm oh man, what's more entertaining? Xavier overcoming Styles, even with a interference from Corbin, or a really good hard-hitting match between Xavier and Ricochet.
Okay. This is very interesting. So I think if Ricochet beats AJ Styles and Xavier obviously goes over and beats Sheamus, face versus face, they can like have like an amazing match, and then like Xavier would be so exhausted because he's given everything, right? But then he still has to fight in the final, and it could be like this very respectable, like, you go get him. Like Ricochet's like, thank you for this. They hug or whatever. It's like, yeah, you go get him, man.
Yeah, sign of respect.
Yeah. I think that would be cool. I think, and then Baron Corbin, he's not going to destroy Rey Mysterio, but he's gonna win, and he's gonna be very disrespectful.
It's sort of like what I can imagine actually happening on TV would be. Yeah, what I could imagine actually happening on TV would be AJ beating Ricochet, because then it would be a good like obstacle for Xavier to overcome. Plus, then you could have Corbin run in and cause the interference, and Styles try to take an advantage of that. Plus, you got Omos on the outside.
Yeah.
Which
is
that
it Omos or is it Omos?
Omos, whatever. I don't know.
It's which one is it? I just want to know.
But so you can have and like, so that's a lot of obstacles to overcome, and it would be like a big thing for Xavier to win. But at the same time, in my head, in our world of Book of Vince, I'm just like, I don't want Ricochet to keep losing. I'm tired of the fact that he's on main event killing it when he should be on Raw being a badass. So.
I know, but think about it. This episode is not about Ricochet. It's about Xavier's quest to become King of the Ring. So why not make him face a heel in the semifinal?
Yeah,
that is accompanied by a giant man, and is also like he'll be tired from facing AJ, and he'll have to overcome the interference from Omos probably, and then Baron Corbin will also try to sabotage him. Like, there's just so many things. It's like piling on the okay. I think that makes the most sense.
Before we get to that though, Xavier versus Sheamus.
Yes.
I think now that he's in the semifinals, you have a good early on promo or backstage segment with Xavier where he gets to talk about King of the Ring. And it's like, you're officially in King of the Ring, Woods. What do you think so far? And like, maybe then, so that was the Raw episode where they announced it. They had the qualifiers, whatever. Then on SmackDown, they have Corbin beating Mysterio, Ray beating Cameron Grimes. Because that same week, you have then Cameron Grimes winning the thing to go on to SmackDown. So then it's the Raw after, and you have then Woods to be able to say, like, it's like, you can see on the other side, you're gonna have, or maybe it's just Corbin makes it to the semifinals, and you have Woods being able to cut a promo on Corbin, and that gets interrupted by Sheamus.
Yeah.
Who is like looming over Woods, and Woods and Kofi can fire back. And it's sort of this thing of like, you don't have what it takes to be a king.
Yes. Because what have you done? What have you done in this company other than leech off of the much more successful and better wrestlers that you've been surrounded by just by chance?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is Sheamus really tearing into him, being like, yeah, it's like, you're you're the one that's always on the shelf, that's always got the injury. You're never the one who is a part of the championship runs. You're not the star of the New Day. You're just a sidekick, and a sidekick is not fit to be king.
You could give him the really corny lines of being like, "You'll never be a king. You'll just be a court jester."
Yeah.
And he
You don't take
just
this
says,
seriously.
he just says like, why don't you go back to catering and play your video games or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Sheamus is getting mean. And bring your stupid trombone with you.
And then they just have a great match of like, it's like, yeah, Sheamus is dominating, but then Xavier comes back and he beats him clean.
I think there is an opportunity for obviously the very overused like rope break spot, but like I think Xavier should take like a hard brogue kick, and he's done. You think it's over. You're like, oh, great, Sheamus, awesome. He's gonna advance, and then it's like 1, 2, and then the ref points at the ropes, and Xavier's foot's on the ropes, and he has like with his last shred of energy moved his leg over, and then Xavier does his comeback sequence, of course, and wins. Wait, what is Woods' solo finisher? Is it
Shining Wizard?
It's a Shining Wizard. Is
Elbow
there
drop.
not like a? Oh yeah, elbow drop is the other one, right?
Yeah, elbow drop, Shining Wizard.
Shining Wizard. Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah, I think he would hit Sheamus with a Shining Wizard, get on to the top rope, hit him on the elbow drop, and there we go. Woods to the semifinals.
Yeah. No, I think having Woods like overcome that is like the big thing. Let's see. Finishing moves is Xavier Woods limit break, which is a rope walk, diving elbow.
Yeah.
Culture shock, diving DDT. Lost in the Woods, inverted stomp face breaker. Tornado DDT,
yeah.
Shining Wizard.
Right.
So
Shining Wizard is what he uses presently, right? And the elbow drop. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I think it would be awesome for him to overcome that, and then you can have the announce team being like, Woods is going to King of the Ring.
Yes. His lifelong dream of being the king of the ring is one step closer to reality. Oh my God. Michael Cole.
But then you can
it would not be Michael Cole. It would be who is the commentary
Samoa
team
Joe.
of Raw?
It'd be Samoa Joe.
Yeah, Samoa Joe.
But then the next week you could have the Styles and Ricochet match. But along with that, you could have a promo package of Woods talking about King of the Ring, and that's where he kind of like goes through like the people who have won it, why it's so influential to him, why he wants to be it so badly. And yeah, you could have all those sort of moments and whatnot, of that, real babyface. Like he wants it more than anybody. He wants it this badly. So
yeah, and I think a great spot in this Styles Ricochet match would be let's say like AJ gets thrown out of the ring, or he is outside of the ring, and then Ricochet is like, oh, I'm going to do like a crazy like suicide dive or like a top rope like flip or something like that. And we see the angle of like Ricochet. Oh my God, my screen is going crazy. Ricochet is like bounces off the ropes and he's like going to launch himself out, but we don't really see what's on the outside of the ring. And he just gets caught by Omos, and Omos slams him like on the apron, just like straight onto his back. Like just like he's like catches him like this, slams him right down onto the apron. So like he's just a mess. That's the hardest part of the ring, brother. You guys slap it in there.
I guess like the referee gets like knocked out or something. Omos interferes. Yeah. Styles uses that as an advantage. Ref counts 1, 2, 3. Styles is going on to King of the Ring pay-per-view to face Xavier Woods. I think also at the
Xavier.
same I think also at the same time you have during this like build up to it, you have Xavier Woods. You know, they ask him like, who would you want to face on if you make it to the finals, who do you want to face on the other side? And that's where he can like dig into Corbin and like pay respects to Rey Mysterio. But then also say like Corbin is has been a disgrace to the name of King of the Ring.
That's what that's what I was thinking too. He calls him out for being like a bastard king. You have been a bastard king, King Corbin.
Yeah.
And it hurts me that you have sullied this tournament that I love so much. This institution of the WWE that has had famous champions, the greats, the Hall of Famers. And he's like he's giving respects to like Bret the Hitman Hart, Owen Hart, Bad News Barrett, Billy Gunn.
You could have Woods then in there like celebrating the people who have won King of the Ring and like really hyping them up to show how much he cares. So then King of the Ring pay-per-view.
Yes.
The opening match is Baron Corbin versus Rey Mysterio. Baron Corbin wins.
Yes.
Cheating somehow.
Yeah.
You know, beating Rey. Doesn't really matter. That just happens.
Being a bastard.
I think maybe what you can also do is that you could either on the build up towards the pay-per-view. I just thought of this. You have the final four. You could then have video of former Kings of the Ring saying who they think is going to win.
Oh yeah, who deserves?
And you have Booker T like super back Xavier really hard.
Yeah.
And then you can have people like Ted DiBiase.
And Barrett can back Corbin as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have Triple H commenting. You could have anyone who's still around and is good with WWE be able to make comments about who they think is going to win. Regal, you could have Regal commenting too at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have those guys, and that's the final four. Baron beats Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
Cool. You then have later in the evening, Woods facing Styles. And obviously, again, like we sort of said before, a lot of interference. You got Omos. Yeah. You got Styles being sneaky. And then because of all the comments and maybe earlier in the pay-per-view, or on the pre-show or something like that, you have a face-to-face between Corbin and Woods. And that sort of then plays into like Baron Corbin coming down and like trying to distract or screw over Woods. But then Woods comes.
But I think he comes down. Okay, we must defy the classic rule of faces do not have friends, because in this scenario, this face, Xavier Woods, has two friends.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They are Kofi Kingston and Big E. So I think, Omos is going to try to help AJ as much as he can. And when Xavier overcomes that, Baron Corbin will come down maybe with like his little scepter and he's like marching towards the ring. But then he gets mugged by the New Day, or at least like they come out and drag Corbin so that he can't interfere. And then maybe Omos and Corbin, or not Omos and Corbin can like be fighting off the rest of the New Day, like Big E and Kofi, whilst like the match in the ring is.
I think you could have a crazy spot, right, where Omos like tries to interfere, and Big E. Well, another thing too. Remember, Omos helped Big E get eliminated at the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Which is a very weird spot, and it didn't make any sense at all. But this could be the payback for it, where Omos like tries to interfere, and stop, maybe like Xavier like goes to the outside or whatever, and then Omos like stands in the way or whatever, and then you have Big E like square up with him, and Omos like tries to do something. Big E picks him up and slams him through the announce table.
Oh yeah, man. Hell
then,
yeah, dude.
And then you do have Baron Corbin, who like maybe comes out of like not from like the main ramp and like main stage, but like maybe he just sort of comes out of nowhere and like maybe puts like AJ's foot on the rope or something like that, and then that's where you have Kofi like square up with them and they fight or whatever, and then Woods does like a moonsault or something off of the top rope onto Corbin, and he gets downed, and then maybe that sort of then like gets the motors going for like for Xavier to start winding up into whatever the finish is going to be. Like he does that, he runs in the ring, he does the thing, AJ is about to do like the phenomenal forearm, he counters it in some way into.
It'd be cool if like during this comeback sequence, you see like AJ, he's like, oh, he has to like kind of like go deep into his arsenal, and he's getting ready to do the phenomenal forearm, and he like jumps up, and while he's in the air, like Woods just like rolls underneath, so he like overshoots him, and then AJ lands, and then Xavier hits him with the Shining Wizard, just like after he's like overshot. So he like turns around just right into the Shining Wizard, and then Woods goes up on the second rope, hits it with the elbow drop. 1, 2, 3. He's in the final.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that'd be money. Yeah, just you're like, oh no, like Woods has overcome so much to get here into this match, and then this match has just been absolute chaos because Omos and King Corbin and the New Day have been just scrapping outside, and it's gotten Woods distracted, and AJ Styles got in his offense. He like Pele kicks him, and you're like, oh god, no, not like this. The flying forearm, and Woods rolling under. AJ Styles turns around. Oh,
Shining Wizard.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. So then we hit the main event. It's Xavier Woods going all the way to face King Corbin.
But he's exhausted. He's like absolutely exhausted at this point.
And maybe during like the AJ Styles match, maybe like maybe AJ was like targeting his knee or something. So he's got like he's bandaged up or something. They quickly try to do something. So then Corbin has like an area to like really target and make it look like, oh, like Xavier has so much to overcome.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he dives in and like it just like elbows his like knee, and like, and you just hear Xavier like go like, ah, and it's just, you're like, oh my god, like there's like, how is this guy gonna win? There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
I definitely think that this is like a really it's a really big match for Xavier to overcome. I don't know if should the New Day not be there? Should they be on the outside?
I think they should be, because they're making sure nobody can like run in and interfere.
Right. Okay.
And I think they're just there to support him, and like, okay, maybe this is why faces don't have friends, because now justifying them being there without interfering is a little weird.
Well, no, they definitely don't need to interfere at all. So
I think they're just playing the trombone and getting people hyped and throwing pancakes and shit. But then, okay, here's a spot in the match. I think the ref is knocked down, and Baron Corbin goes to the outside and grabs his scepter thing, and he's like, he's about to go in and hit Woods with it, but to subvert expectations, he does the Guerrero spot where he like hits the ground and then he throws the scepter at Woods, so that Woods catches it, and then the ref is like, what? no, you can't do that. And then that's when the New Day can be like, he did. It wasn't him. It's like, wait, it wasn't him. And then they're like, okay. The ref is just like forgiving, I guess. There has to be like some sort of thing.
Yeah, it's really tricky. It's hard. It's the whole like hitting a thing and then like, oh, I got hit. It's either, unless it like goes through all the way, it like, that spot kind of just needs to like meet its end to like really be a thing. It's really hard for a ref. Refs are not in WWE. Refs are not presented in the best way sometimes.
Right. They're not smart.
No, sadly. But so I don't know if it would be a thing of like, they would be like, no, he faked it. It's like, then how do you prove that, But so, no, I think the ref getting knocked out and then Corbin using the scepter is definitely a good move.
Or I think he just goes to grab it and the New Day doesn't let him. Or like Kofi grabs it and then like throws it to Big E and they're like kind of like playing catch. It's like they're playing chicken.
Okay, that'd be funny.
Outside. Yeah, I think maybe that's it. Like the ref gets knocked down and then Corbin slides that to grab it. and then Kofi has it and he tosses it to Big E. Big E catches it and Corbin's just like
That'd be funny because that's not getting like super involved.
Yeah.
That's not like, that's not getting too involved where it's like, feels like, oh, Xavier didn't really like deserve the win because the New Day got involved. But like, that's a funny bit that can happen in the match. And
to end that bit, I think Woods does like a suicide dive out onto Corbin, like, and then knocks Corbin down and throws him back into the ring. And then the match continues. But that's a fun comedy spot for Corbin and the New Day.
So then I think Corbin obviously hits Deep Six.
Yeah.
Woods kicks out miraculously.
I mean, the Deep Six is is like the signature move, and the end of days is the finisher. So it makes sense.
And then how could you could have Corbin go for the end of days?
Yeah.
And like when he goes to like, because the end of days is like he catches them and then swings them back to face plant them. Maybe when he swings them back, Woods does like a flip over his arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a reversal instead of kicking out. Like he reverses it successfully. Just to build the hype.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, he flips. He flips and then he'll hit him.
And this is just like, it's sort of like Woods' powering up moment, like reaching his full potential. Because you want it just to be such a hype moment. You don't want, you wouldn't want a spot like this to be, oh, a surprise roll up or anything like that. Like you want it to be clean.
Yeah. Also, because his leg is injured, he can't Shining Wizard, I don't think. Like I don't think he'd be able to do that. And if he does, it's not full power. So like Baron Corbin would kick out of it.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot where like maybe he flips out of the end of days. He runs the ropes, drop kicks him, gets up to like power up the Shining Wizard, does it. He's on the ground writhing in pain with his knee, like, oh no. Yeah. And they're like, will he make the cover? He needs to make the cover. He does it with like one arm. One, two, kick out.
Kick out.
It's like, what is Woods has to do to successfully like to beat Corbin if he can't do his main move? And then that can lead to like Woods like struggling to climb the ropes to get to the top rope. Bad knee. Maybe Corbin comes up and like tries to do like a superplex and Woods reverses it. Manages to get up and does the diving elbow splash. 1, 2, 3.
regal music of the King of the Ring tournament plays, streamers and confetti, just come raining down, and Woods is in the center of the ring, and he's like, ah.
Oh yeah,
and
then crying.
The New Day comes in. Yeah, they're hugging. And then like some random dudes like bring out like a crown.
Yeah.
Or maybe Booker T. Maybe Booker T comes out.
Booker T would be so good. That'd be such a good moment.
He comes out as King Booker.
Yeah.
And then he walks down, and then he shakes Xavier Woods' hand, and then he like hands him like his scepter.
The scepter, the staff or whatever.
Yeah, the staff. He takes his crown off, puts it on his head, and then he takes the robe off, and then the New Day, like Kofi and Big E, help him put on the robe, and then
they lift him up on their shoulders, and it just ends with the image of like Xavier Woods, now King Xavier, sitting on top of his friends.
He's like this.
Yeah, sitting on top of his friend's shoulders with the crown, the cape, the scepter, just like, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the king. I'm the king.
Oh, that'd be so good. That's such a good moment. Beautiful. That's such a good moment with Booker T passing on the torch.
Yeah, because like Booker T would just be wearing like a suit probably, and he'd come out with like all the stuff. Or maybe he's in just like full ring gear, hilariously in full ring gear.
You could have it be so like, it would be a really touching moment, and everybody would love it. But at the same time, it'd be so like funny and cool at the same time, where like Booker T comes in and they all take a knee.
Yeah.
And then he goes up to Woods and he's like, rise.
Yeah.
You're the king now.
Yeah. He knights him. Yeah. Puts the crown. Yeah. That's so great. That's confetti. So great. I would love that. I would the king. I would mark out like crazy. Oh,
it'd be so good. That's such
what
an
end of a pay-per-view that would be.
And then you have the reign of Xavier Woods, King Xavier. Yeah. I love every minute of that. That's so good. So good. There we go. That's us booking Xavier Woods, winning King of the Ring.
Yep. Become
the new king. Let us know how else you would have booked a King of the Ring pay-per-view. And also, who do you think should be King of the Ring other than Xavier? Who do you think needs to win that title next, and who deserves it? To finish off the episode, we have our question of the week and our match recommendation. If you want to leave us questions, you can reach out to us on social media, in the comments of the podcast, or by going to our website, unknownerrorfilms.com/book events, and leaving a question on there. Anthony, I figured that a good question for this week, just to pair it with this sort of theme that we have here, is who do you think should be the first Queen of the Ring? Now, it seems like a very obvious choice.
Yeah, well, there is one person that it would be incredibly obvious to do that. But we are not going to make Charlotte the Queen of the Ring.
I mean, if they were to bring in a Queen of the Ring tournament, it seems like Charlotte would be a very obvious choice to win. Mm-hmm. But who, say they gave the women wrestlers the same sort of thing as what King of the Ring is, but now it's like the Queen version. Do you think they should win? Whoever should win it should then have the Queen like gimmick of
the Queen character.
Queen character.
Maybe. Okay. Hear me out. This would maybe be crazy, but like, imagine if Nikki Cross won the Queen of the Ring tournament and became like Queen Nikki.
I love it.
I think that would be pretty wild.
Queen Nikki.
And maybe like it also gives an opportunity for her to have like a heel turn to be like a crazy queen.
That'd be great.
The Mad Queen. The Mad
She's
Queen,
going
Nikki
around.
Cross.
She's just going around. Off with her head.
Yeah, I think she would be really great.
I think it would be definitely a surprise, and then it would be a good way to like introduce like a new, like it just refreshing her as a talent and as a personality on TV.
And obviously, Marty, I know you'll approve of this. Queen Billy Kay.
Queen Billy Kay?
Yeah.
I was actually just about to say Queen Peyton Royce.
Oh, well, I think if they face off in the finals, that'd be very funny.
Queen Billy would be very funny thing. It's just hard for me to like right now. Billy Kay is very good where she's she's doing the comedy bit. She's not really wrestling. She's more of this like manager sort of thing, or at least trying to be. It would be really cool to just refreshen Peyton Royce, and like nudge her towards that main event sort of picture. Get her the fuck away from Lacey Evans. But then just imagine this thing of like she's Queen Peyton, Queen Royce.
Yeah, Queen Royce would be good too.
Royal Royce.
Ooh, okay. All right, WWE Creative. If you're here, if you're listening, we're giving you a lot of good stuff. So,
and then you could have Billy Kay, not bring the Iconics back together, even though that's what I would love, but like have Billy Kay like represent, the Queen herself. So,
oh yeah,
it'd be cool. I would love that, but I do love that idea of like Queen Nikki. That'd be pretty cool.
The Queen's hand. First hand of the Queen.
Yeah.
Nikki.
And that's the thing too, is like I don't
fake British accents. Ooh, that would be just the worst, but also very funny.
I think that you either have to do it one of two ways with the women. Is like anyone other than Charlotte, it's hard to do like a serious booking.
Yeah.
Unless it's like someone, I don't know who else you would pick to be like, unless you do like a Sasha Banks or like a Bailey, but even like Sasha even would be like, I'm the boss and I'm the new queen or whatever. And like, it'd be more like, it'd feel more heelish than face. And also it'd be more like, I'm just the best. It would just be but that's already her moniker, is that she's the best. Bailey, it would be interesting because you could have serious, but you could also have comedy.
Yeah, you're
right. Charlotte, it would be all seriousness, and that's just how it is. Anyone else, there would have to be a layer of comedy into it, because then it's the thing of like, it used to be very serious where it's like, yeah, you throw in the king gimmick and that's what it is. Even Booker T's reign as King of the Ring, like he was really good, but his main antagonist that entire time as being King of the Ring was the Boogeyman.
Yeah. So it's hard to book like a legitimate storyline post win of that tournament. You
in order to have like a legitimate like rivalry or like seriousness with King of the Ring, you need someone like William Regal, who when he won it, he just became like, it was kind of like King Joffrey, sort of like he is all controlling. He's just a monster. He just beats everybody, like that sort of a thing. And but in this day and age, like being like, oh, all of a sudden I'm a king, I'm a queen, like it's just silly. It's
hard to justify that in a legitimate booking of a person who believes that they're a king.
But that's our answers. Let us know your answers about who you think should be the first queen of the ring. Hopefully they do that soon, because I think it'd be a really cool tournament for TV or a pay-per-view or something. Get some good matches out of it. Anthony, let's close out the episode with your match recommendation for this week. So what match do you think people need to go and check out?
Okay, let's keep it within the theme. Let's do WWE Extreme Rules 2019. Big E and Xavier Woods, The New Day, versus Daniel Bryan and Rowan and Otis and Tucker in a 3-way tag match. That's when the New Day won their titles.
I'm trying to remember that match. So it was Heavy Machinery versus.
Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan.
Oh, right. I remember
Big
they
E
did.
and Xavier Woods.
Right. They did have the titles at one point. Yeah, I remember that. They were the SmackDown Tag Team champions. Right. I remember that. I'm definitely going to need to watch that match because I remember it, but I don't remember enough to be like, was that a good match?
It was. And
But-
also
but
it's rated 4 stars on Pro Fight DB. So like,
I mean, all good wrestlers. So yeah, and you won't be disappointed. And obviously, I guess that was the last time they had those belts, and then they went. Oh, right, because they won. They won them there. They lost them again. They won them back again after. Oh, I think that was before. Was that before or after Woods was? No, that was before Woods was injured.
yes.
So, yeah, okay. Before.
That's the match. Extreme Rules 2019. Oh.
Sweet. Good triple threat tag team match. Some great talent in there. And of course, the New Day, who we love. And
yes.
please come on the show because we'd love to book matches with you.
Yes.
please
come on the show.
Cool. We're going to call the episode there. Loved it. Definitely wanted to do this one. And I love the build of the tournament. We're going to call it there. Thank you very much for listening and or watching this episode of Book It Vince. If you want to follow anything that we do here on the podcast or at UE at Unknown Error, you can follow us online at UE_films. If you want to follow myself on Twitter or Instagram, you can do so by looking up at Barton_Minute. You can follow Mr. Anthony Hall.
The Floating Head. Oh, you can follow me at Holland Jokes on Instagram and Twitter.
At the Floating Head. Ooh.
That's nothing. Don't at the Floating Head. I don't know if that's real.
I don't know what that would be or if it's, don't look that up. And of course, if you want to follow the podcast on Twitter, you can do so at Book It Vince Pod. Weekly live reactions to shows, pay-per-views, got those wrestling memes, got those questions, got those fun facts and whatnot. So go and do that. But thank you very much for checking out the podcast and listening. Stay safe out there. Go watch some wrestling. And we'll catch you next time.
Sweet.